Good evening, President Martinez, Superintendent Aquino, board members, and honored guests. Tonight, we will be reviewing the interim data for Goals 1 and 2. Board Goal 1 is focused on reading outcomes for all students. Our goal is to have 50% of our students score at the meets grade level or be considered on grade level by 2027. Interim goals are evaluated twice a year, once in the fall and again in the spring. For Goal 1, the interim monitoring goals focus on language arts performance for grades 3, 6, and 8 using the fall and spring STAR interim assessments. While the STAR interim assessments were administered at a handful of campuses last year, they were optional. This year, all campuses are required to administer both the fall and spring administration for reading and math. To set new goals, a new baseline was established for the interim assessments using the 2024 data. Please note that because the interim assessments were optional, very few students were tested in the fall, and only about half of grade 3 students were tested in the spring. Nonetheless, the 2023-24 fall interim was a relatively strong projector for the year-end STAR performance at the meets grade level. The 2024-25 fall interim did meet the annual target of 40 for grade 3 students, and therefore the district is on track for this goal. Additional grade 3 data is provided for comparison for all students, Black students, EB students, and students receiving special education services. We observed almost no change at the approaches level, but saw stronger gains in ELA at meets and masters. There were no ELA assessments for grade 6 administered in the fall of 2023-24. However, they were included in the spring interim, which is used as the baseline above. Grade 6 is on track to meet this interim goal, having scored at 47%, well above the goal of 43. Grade 6 data is also provided for comparison for Black students, EB students, and students receiving special education services. Our 6th grade students had positive gains at all levels, increasing 8 percentage points at the meets grade level. Last year, the spring interim was a strong predictor of the overall performance at the end of the year for meets grade level. As with grade 6, there were no ELA assessments for grade 8 administered in the fall of 2023-24. However, again, grade 8 was included in the spring interim, which is used as the baseline above. Grade 8 is on track to meet the long-term goal of 50% for interim goal 1.3. On this slide, grade 8 data is provided for comparison for Black students, EB students, and students receiving special education services. Gains were also seen at all of the performance levels. However, the spring data did overestimate the final performance at meets grade level, so some caution in interpreting this data is needed. Overall, we are on track to meet this board goals monitoring progress measures. In 3rd grade, we saw an increase at the meets level from the 23-24 STAR administration of 9% for all students on the fall interim. It is also notable that Black students and emergent bilingual students also improved. In 6th grade, we saw an increase at the meets level from the 2023 STAR administration of 8% for all students. Black students, emergent bilinguals, and students with disabilities also improved performance over the previous year's cohort of 6th grade test takers. In 8th grade, we saw an increase at the meets level from the 23-24 STAR administration of 11% for all students. Black students, emergent bilinguals, and students with disabilities also improved performance at the meets level. consistent implementation of curriculum by schools has contributed to these results, and some schools that are implementing Amplify, an HQIM product, are outperforming schools implementing district curriculum. We believe the performance variability has to do with the fidelity of implementation to the curriculum. We must be cautious about interpretation of these increases for a couple of reasons. First, extended construction responses are not included on the TEA interim. And in addition, the interims were optional last year, so the data is not necessarily comparable in terms of the number of students testing. Board Goal 2 is focused on improving math outcomes for all Black students. Again, our goal is to have 50% of Black students score at the MEETS grade level or on grade level by 2027. For Goal 2, the interim monitoring goals focus on math performance for grades 3, 6, and 8 using the fall and spring STAR interim assessments. Grade 3 math was included in both the fall and spring interim assessments last year. At this time, Black students in grade 3 are not on track to meet interim goal 2.1, although we may be closer or on track by the spring. Last year, there was a 10 percentage point gain between fall and spring, which would bring us up to the annual goal of 28%. Grade 3 math data is provided for comparison and includes data on all students, emergent bilingual students, and students that are receiving special education services. At both the approaches and MEETS grade levels, grade 3 students performed below the 2023-24 STAR levels for our students. However, minor gains were evident at the master's grade level. Grade 6 math was also included in both the fall and spring interim assessments last year. At this time, grade 6 is not on track to meet the interim goal, but may move closer to the goal in the spring. Last year, grade 6 increased 8 percentage points from fall to spring, which would bring us much closer to the annual goal of 21%. Grade 6 math data is provided for comparison and includes data on all students, emergent bilingual students, and students that are receiving special education services. At all levels, there were some gains and some losses in comparison with the previous year's STAR results. Emergent bilingual students had the most consistent improvement in math at this grade level. Lastly, grade 8 math was included in both the fall and spring interim assessments last year. At this time, grade 8 is on track to meet interim goal 2.3 and may still show additional growth in the spring. Grade 8 math data is provided for comparison and includes data on all students, emergent bilingual students, and students that are receiving special education services. While performance for all groups at the approaches level decreased, there were significant gains suggested at the MEETS and master's grade levels. For the Goal 2 progress measures, we are not on track for grades 3 and 6. However, we are on track for grade 8 to meet our goal. In grade 3, the target was 28% at the MEETS level. However, only 19% of students in 3rd grade scored at the proficient level. In grade 6, the target was 21% at the MEETS level, but only 12% of students reached that performance level. In grade 8, the target was 26% at the MEETS level, and exactly 26% of 8th graders scored at that level. Like the ELA test, last year the interim was optional, and therefore a comparison between the 2 years is not necessarily helpful. Besides interim data, we have gathered additional data points that show that the curriculum does not meet the rigor of the standards, and we are addressing this in several ways, including revising the curriculum to increase the rigor, piloting the Bluebonnet HQIM product in the spring semester, and focusing more intensely in PLC meetings to ensure teachers are providing tasks that are at the level of rigor necessary to achieve our desired outcomes. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Please let us know if you have any questions. Additional data has been provided in our appendix.